When it comes to finances, it's actually a lot easier to understand finance when you're a child versus being an adult. As adults, we have a lot of baggage that comes with us understanding our finances, and we have a lot of experiences and sometimes financial trauma that impact our financial decisions. As a child, you're not burdened by those things. So it's a lot easier for you to understand that finance is just a series of simple concepts. Now, when I say simple, I don't mean that they're easy by any means. It's simple because there's only simple arithmetic that you have to know to deal with your finances on a day-to-day basis. But when you have all these outside influences impacting your financial decisions, that's when it becomes a lot harder to deal with. Hi, I'm Nadia, one half of the Wealth Twins, and today I'm going to give you 8 financial common sense concepts that a first grader can understand, but most adults don't. So let's jump into it. I'm just going off direct experience that I have with my 2 children and their friends. Firsthand, I've learned that children understand debt more than adults. I taught a Girl Scout troop that had ages 6 to 10 in the group, and I taught them about credit cards and how to budget their money. Now, to make the concept of budgeting easier for them to understand, I gave each of them a clear Ziploc bag with 10 jelly beans inside. Now, these jelly beans represented how much money they would be paid. The jelly beans were their paycheck. Now, I had them draw circles on a piece of paper. One circle is for their paycheck, where they put all 10 jelly beans. Another circle was for their expenses. And then they had 3 other circles, one for savings, one for investing, and one for fun money. Each one of those, they had to allocate different jelly beans into it. Now, for savings, investing, and fun money, I told them they had to allocate 10% of their paycheck, meaning if you had 10 jelly beans, you had to put 1 jelly bean in each one of those circles. They understood that concept immediately. Now, when it came to expenses, I had them tell me about what expenses they would think they would have. They all came up with they needed a house, they needed some type of transportation, and they needed to make sure they had food, and then we just put in they needed to have lights in their house. And they knew they needed to have gas in order to run their cars. Now, once everyone had allocated their jelly beans to the correct bucket, we started going over how they would do with their next paycheck. So I gave them another 10 jelly beans. Now, one of the hardest things was keeping the kids from eating the jelly beans. But once we got past that, take their jelly beans from their paycheck and then allocate it to expenses, savings, fun money, and investing. After their first paycheck, I asked them, hey, who would like to buy a new toy? Would you like to buy a Rubik's Cube or some Pokemon cards or LOL dolls? And they all raised their hand. They're like, yes, 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 we want to buy. But I said, well, each of those costs over $5. You only have $3 if you look at your savings, your investing, and your fun money. You only have $3. You don't have enough to pay for the $5 thing. And they're like, really? I said, well, you can borrow money on credit and pay it. If you give me those $3, I can add $2 to it, and then we'll put it in a different bucket. And then you're able to get that toy you want. Some of the girls decided to not only buy 1 toy, they decided to buy 2 toys. So they were in debt to me from anywhere between $2 to $7. Now, when I came around and gave them their next set of paychecks, their next set of 10 jelly beans, they tried to allocate it to the 3 buckets again, investing, fun money, and savings. But I said, no, you have to pay the credit card back. Now, the girls who just borrowed $2, they were able to pay it back, but they weren't able to put any money into their fun money because I had told them they have to put into their savings and their investing first. So they had to wait until the next paycheck. But the girls who had borrowed up to $7 weren't able to do that. They had to put all their money into the credit card, and then the next paycheck, they still owed me money, and I showed them what interest was because now the $7 that they borrowed was now up to $9. Now, I was the credit card company, and to make more of an impression on the girls, I decided to have my jelly beans in a big brown paper bag so they couldn't see what was going on. After a couple of rounds of them having to pay me back and realizing they couldn't put anything into their fun money, their investing, or their savings, I asked them, what could you do? They said, well, maybe we can start lowering our expenses. I said, how? Maybe we can start lowering our utilities. I said, how would you do that? They said, well, my grandfather said, turn off the lights. If you're not in the room, turn off the lights, so our light bill will go down. I said, how else could you do it? Well, we can start riding our bikes to where we need to go instead of driving our car so we can save on gas money. These are simple things that the girls learned on their own that would help them lower their expenses so they can keep more of their paycheck and try to pay down their debt quicker. Now, at the end of the exercise, I kept taking the money they owed me and put it into my brown paper bag. And at the end of the exercise, I showed them how many jelly beans I had in that bag because I was collecting interest and they had to keep paying me from each paycheck. Two things happened from that exercise. The girls learned very early on that if they borrow any money or get into debt, it's better for them to pay it off as quickly as possible and to borrow the least amount of money they can. They also learned that their expenses are within their control and that their savings and their investing is important for them because that's another way for them to increase the value of their paycheck. They would make money from their investing that would help give them more money to put towards their savings or their fund money and help fund their lifestyle. So that was a concept they got very quickly, and all I needed to do was use jelly beans. Another finance practice that kids understand more than adults is delayed gratification, especially when it comes to buying something they want. I take my children to Dave & Buster's. If you don't know what Dave & Buster's is an arcade facility that you can go to and you get tickets for games when you're playing, and you can go exchange those tickets for prizes. Instead of spending tickets the first time we go to Dave & Buster's on a small prize, they will save their tickets, and the next time they come and play games, they're able to get more tickets so they can get a better prize. This is delayed gratification, and it works so well when you're dealing with your finances. If you can hold off on buying something that you want now, if you can't afford it and have to use another means to pay for it, if you can wait until you save up enough money, you will learn if you really want that thing, or you will learn that you earned that money in order to pay for it and you really wanted it. Number 3, children understand that value matters more than price. A lot of adults I know cannot get this concept. They think the more that something costs, the more valuable it is. And that's not the case. Now, I'm using examples only from my experience, and I'm telling you, children get this right away. It's when we are adults that we make this more complicated. When my children, they say, okay, we're at the register, and you know they always try to get you to buy something at the register. They put a lot of candy up there, they put gum, they put magazines. My children are in the gum phase. They want every type of gum. Now, I'm not going to keep buying gum for each of them because I find the wrappers everywhere. But they'll look at the gum section and they'll see, hey, there's a pack of gum that has only 10 pieces in it and it costs $2 to $3. What they'll do is say, look, instead of us getting 2 packs of gum for $2 to $3, how about we split this pack of gum that's for $4, but it comes with 40 pieces. That way, instead of getting 10 a piece, we get 20 a piece. And they understand, hey, let's look at the value instead of the price, and then we can compare. It is a skill that they're learning now that will definitely help them when they become adults. The next concept that children understand when it comes to their finances is that they understand that spending time with their family, having love in their life, and spending time with their friends is more important than having money. A child doesn't care about money. Those things are more valuable to them than money will ever be at that age. It's only when we become adults that money matters more to us than those things. Those are the real things that bring value to your life and a quality life. Money doesn't matter. If you have friends, if you have love, and you're able to spend time with your friends, and you have your health, those things matter way more than money. Money can always be replaced, but your friends, your family, and the love they give to you and your time can never be replaced. And I think if you look at a child, those are the things that are more important to them than money is. I think we can keep that childlike mentality when it comes to money and understand that those things are more important. I think we will be much happier as adults. Another concept that a first grader can understand, it's common sense to them, but may be difficult for most adults, is that you don't spend your whole dollar. If they have $1 and they want to go spend the whole dollar, you can teach them the value of saving that dollar and what saving that dollar can help them do later in the future. Now, I am a wealth coach, but I don't sit around teaching my kids about money every single day. My daughter got this concept when she was 6 years old, and I saw it play out right in front of my eyes. She's a savage. I remember when I had a cafe, and some of my employees were just hanging out after work, and one of the employees had just bought a new computer and a new iPhone. And my daughter came up to this particular employee and said, hey, do you have a new phone? And he's like, yes. She's like, well, what happened to your old one? He goes, oh, nothing's wrong with it. I just wanted to buy a new phone. And then she said, didn't you just get paid yesterday? And you spent all your money on this phone? He's like, yeah. She's like, but was nothing wrong with your other phone? I don't understand that. He yells, Nadia, get your daughter away from me. And I was like, well, you're just mad because she's making a lot of sense. Kids get it, okay? Don't overcomplicate it. If it doesn't make sense to a child, it doesn't make sense, and it shouldn't make sense to you. Here's a concept that kids understand very easily, and it transfers over into finances. They understand, do not let someone keep borrowing your toys if they don't give them back. The same thing happens when you have people in your life who borrow money from you and they never pay you back. Kids understand that. If they don't take care of your toys and they always borrow them, they come over your house, take your toys and they never give it back, they understand correctly. They say, no, I'm not lending this person my toys anymore because they don't pay me back. As an adult, you need to do this when it comes to your money. If you have someone in your life who keeps asking you for money and they never pay you back, take that as a sign that maybe that's not the person you should be lending your money to, because you'll never get paid back. Unless you want to look at it as a gift. But if you look at it as a loan and you're expecting to get paid back, that will just build up resentment. Kids understand, they say quickly, no. They have no problem saying no, and it will stop that behavior. That is something a lot of adults can use in their life. Learn how to say no to people, because it is a skill that we use less and less of as we get older. But it is something that we should use more often to help us in life. Now, like I said, my daughter is a Girl Scout, and one thing that she learned very early on when it came to making money is that if it's not working, change your strategy until it works. When she started selling Girl Scout cookies, I said, look, I'm going to let you take the lead on this. And she started at 6 years old. I wanted her to be proud of her work, and I wanted her to understand how it felt to sell something and make money. When she started selling Girl Scout cookies, a lot of the time people will say, oh, that's a little girl, I'm going to buy from them regardless. But sometimes you'll get no. So she worked on her sales pitch. She went door to door. And sometimes a sales pitch would work better than the one she used before. So she kept building upon that experience to the point where she would knock on the door. She was confident in her presentation and she would make the sell. This is something that a lot of adults, including myself, need to learn. Just because it doesn't work the first time doesn't mean you give up. You keep changing your strategy until it works. Maybe you're working at a job and you want to interview at another job, but you didn't get the first job that you interviewed for. It doesn't matter. Keep trying, because as you keep trying, you're going to get better and you will get that job to make more money. So it's just a matter of keep changing your strategy until that money comes in. And another concept that kids understand is that it doesn't matter how much you make, it's how much you keep. You ever seen kids get a whole bunch of Halloween candy, and then you have a kid who will sit up there and eat all their candy in the first day, but then you have another kid who will save their candy all year long? And the kid who ate the candy the first day may have had a bigger bag of candy. But the thing is, it doesn't matter how much candy they had. If they ate it all within the first day or the first week, and the other person had less candy, but they spread that out, it didn't matter how much they had. It mattered how much they kept. The person who had less candy, but kept it longer, it's much happier. And the same concept translates into money. If you make a lot of money and you spend it all, it doesn't matter. But a person who makes less money but keeps more of it, that matters more, because that person is actually richer because they're keeping more of their money. I'd rather be a person who makes less but keeps more of my money rather than a person who makes more and spends all of their money. These are financial concepts that children get, and if we just go back and make it simple to understand, we can definitely apply these same concepts to our lives as adults. Like I said before, finance is simple, but it's not easy. It's similar to trying to lose weight. We all know that we have to burn more calories than we eat, but still weight loss is hard for a lot of people. So don't give yourself a hard time when it comes to managing your money and thinking that, oh, this child understands it more than I do. We all understand it, but putting it into practice, that's where the difficulty begins. If you begin to start thinking like a child and say, actually, if I wanted to get my money really in the order that I need it to be to give me the life that I want, then I need to start thinking like a child and really simplifying how I manage my money. If I have money coming in, I have to make sure I have less going out. And the difference is what I save and put it towards what I desire in the future. This will help you out more than anything in the long run. It doesn't matter how much money you make, like I said before, it's how much you keep. You will learn that that is going to bring you a lot further than any other skill that you can have when it comes to your money. If you want to learn a simple budget that will help you manage your money easily without a lot of work, check out this video here. And please subscribe to the channel because we would love to have you as part of our community.